That kind of, those of you guys that are in the Pensacola group or you're part of the Facebook page in any of our groups, you may have seen a little bit of a debate that erupted on the Facebook page about wholesalers and some of them having a requirement to either have no inspection period or a very, very high earnest money deposit or a combination of the two. And so because, sometimes there's a lot of stuff that gets posted on our members only Facebook page. Sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't see it. But because this had so many comments and because I had made a comment about it, I saw there was a lot of interest in this topic. So I just wanted to kind of address it because certainly if you are a part of a group like this or one of our other groups, this whole relationship between wholesalers and end buyers, whether they are rehabbers or people looking for buy and hold rentals, that relationship is a pretty critical component of what goes on here because we're all about creative real estate investing. We're all about finding deals, and a lot of times wholesalers are the ones finding the deal flow, controlling the inventory, and then selling it to those of you guys who are looking to be the end buyer. So I thought it was important that we all kind of came to terms and understood kind of the different relationship that existed here, okay? So someone even went to the point, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, and I'm probably maybe messing this up a little bit, but they kind of were making this point of that they felt like it was maybe a little hypocritical of a wholesaler to not pay a deposit when they put it under contract, but expect a large deposit from an end buyer. So just so I can just quickly give you an overview, and we won't spend too much time on this, but if you guys are brand new and you don't know what wholesaling is, it's basically when you go out and find a deal, you put it under contract, and then you are looking to just sell that contract, okay? So oftentimes you can make $5, $10, $20, $30,000 or more by simply getting a property under contract and then flipping or selling that paper or contract to somebody else. So there's a lot of our members who do that. In fact, when you sign up to become a member, one of the first things we put in your hands as a bonus is a wholesaling course, because I do believe it's one of the best ways to kind of get active, involved in the business and learn it in a very low risk way. Okay, so this is the kind of the debate that came up. There was somebody who posted on the pig page who was kind of upset or frustrated because he had looked into buying a property and the wholesaler wanted a really, really large non-refundable deposit, $5,000, $10,000, and wouldn't let them have an inspection. Okay, so now listen, we're all going to, depending on which side of the fence you fall on, we're all going to fall on different opinions of this, unless you've been on both sides of it, like myself or some of you others, and maybe you'll understand it. So let me just explain my position on it. If I was teaching or training somebody in a wholesale course, right, and I'm teaching you how to be an effective wholesaler, I would say, get as large of a deposit as you possibly can, and as small of an inspection period as you possibly can, because if that person bails, you want to make sure that the buyer is serious, and you determine that by how large of a deposit they'll put down, and you also don't want to waste a bunch of time on a long inspection period, then they back out of the contract, and you're stuck and can't try to sell it to somebody else. That's if I'm teaching the wholesaler, okay? If I'm teaching the end buyer, and he comes to me and says, I'm looking to buy this deal, I'm going to say, put as little money down as possible, okay, and get as long of an inspection period as possible, okay? So it's not that there's anything wrong with either view, it's the fact that we have two parties running their own business and they have competing interests, and that's fine, right? That's business. And somewhere in between there is where a negotiation happens, right? We understand that. And that's when it all is going to boil down to supply and demand, right? And so there are times, we have actually a member from one of the larger wholesalers in the area based out of Alabama, and one of our members just bought a rehab property from them. The asking price was $115. They offered $105, got it under contract. They did an inspection, found a lot of repairs needed to be done, got the price down to $85. Okay, so there is negotiation. Even a very successful wholesaler who's doing a large volume business and making a lot of money, oftentimes there's room for negotiation. If he had dozens of buyers beating down his door begging to buy that property, there probably would have been less negotiation, right? So if they've got 10 buyers, bidding the price up, they're going to be able to get a big deposit and a small inspection period. But if they've been trying to sell it for 2 weeks and nobody's interested, then you're going to be able to get a better price, right? A low deposit or no deposit and a longer inspection period. So just understand you're going to fall somewhere in that spectrum. Don't take it personally if they require a large deposit, non-refundable. Just say, no thanks, right? Because in the end, it's the one who cares the least that wins, right? And if you're desperate to get a deal, then you're probably going to overpay, put too big of a deposit down, and get too short of an inspection period. And if that's where you're at, you probably shouldn't be in the business. Like, you really should not care that much about an individual deal. And this is why I always teach, and this is the critical kind of lesson in all of this, why every single person in this room, regardless of your strategy, if you want to scale your business to any significant level whatsoever, you have to focus on deal flow. You have to have your own marketing plan. You have to have some way that you are generating motivated seller leads to call you. Now, if you only want to do one deal a year, or if you find like one subject to and one rental, you're fine. Or if you do 2 rehabs a year, you can probably rely on wholesalers and be just fine. And I'm not knocking that. There's people that come here and they're happy. They just want to network, have a good time, meet some people, do a couple deals a year, make 30, 40 grand on a couple of rehabs, pay off some debt, go on a vacation, put a little more towards retirement, and they're pumped, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to get to a place where you're going to scale your business, you have to have deal flow. When you go through my real estate investing baby steps, step number 1, y'all love hearing this one, is create a budget, right? And once you create a budget, you're able to create some surplus in your budget, in your life. The step number 2 is create a marketing plan. And it doesn't matter whether you want to buy rentals, rehabs, subject to, do lease options, do commercial, whatever the case might be. Now, your marketing plan as a commercial person might be to just network with 100 brokers and call 100 brokers and meet with them and take them, whatever it might be. You have to have a plan that is going to create deal flow. If you're going to rely on wholesalers and let them control the inventory and let them tell you what you can and cannot buy, then you are going to have to abide by their rules, okay? And if they say it's a $5,000 deposit and a 2-day inspection period, then by cracky, that's what you got, okay? But if you find the deals yourself and you're dealing directly with the motivated seller, 99 times out of 100, you're going to be able to get 30 to 45 days with an inspection period for the whole length of it and put absolutely zero money down. I have bought hundreds of properties and never once put a single penny down on an earnest money deposit from a motivated seller, okay? If you're dealing with a non-motivated seller or you're dealing with a realtor, you better get ready to pony up some END, okay? So it depends on what direction you're going in this business, okay? So I just want to kind of bring that out to you, is don't be offended, don't be hurt, okay? If just be better, right? Don't get offended, be better, right? Go find your own deals, because if you're not going to find your own deals, don't get mad because they are able to dictate the terms, okay? So hopefully that kind of, explains that to everybody, and I think everybody's got to learn that if you want to scale, you're going to have to create some deal flow on your own. Okay, that was completely free, okay? That was an aside, that was in the news, right? That's extra. So tonight...